Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. In some of the screenshots I shared, there was something that made me think about male chaperones in Islam. And a lot of feminists and liberal atheist men, they really resent this idea of men being the male chaperones of women. They don't really want to have to protect their women. And this particular individual who was walking to her door, she got flowers for her mom, was tackled by a fat criminal, and pretty ruthlessly as well. As she was going down, she hit her head, and he did this in broad daylight. Zero fear of police, zero fear of anyone in the community. She did not have the Second Amendment. She did not have a knife. She did not have pepper spray. She did not have a male chaperone. She was alone. And time again, we're seeing now in California, where liberal atheists rule, women are not safe. Women are not safe. And liberal women have this dichotomy of coddling the criminal, fetishizing the criminal, and then thinking they're fighting the patriarchy by telling women to be out and about alone. And they vote to take away the Second Amendment. So everything a liberal atheist woman does hurts women. How so? Because they are enabling crime. They told you to defund the police. Some of them say abolish prisons. Okay, some of them say legalize, tax, and regulate all drugs, which means there'll be more high individuals on the street desperate for money and drugs who will hallucinate and be on their withdrawals and will totally attack a woman because it's an easier target. Predators need easy targets. Women are easy targets. A disarmed woman who doesn't have a male chaperone is an easy target. Feminists tell you constantly, you're a girl boss, you don't need no man, walk out alone. They say a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle, go out alone. Meanwhile, the criminal male is ready to give you a reality check. The more you listen to liberal atheist women, the more unsafe you become. They're the ones who are coddling the felons, who depend upon the emotional state of women in order to do what they gotta do. Have a security mindset, ladies. Have a security mindset. If you are a woman in another country and you don't experience the violent crime and you think it's bad that American Muslims have a concealed carry permit and get educated, I think you're just unwise. If an area has a specific problem, it requires a modern solution. And Islam, Sharia law, does not ban women from self-defense tools. It does not tell women that they need to just allow themselves to be used by criminals in any way they want. Alright? And we have to start getting very serious about our community safety. We need to make it hard for gangs to recruit. Now, liberals will tell you music has zero effect on someone's personality. To which I would argue, okay, how many people listen to Chopin and feel relaxed? So why then wouldn't you make the same deductions from someone listening to violent music that glorifies robbery, thuggery, cartel, and gang life? Especially when they're fatherless, full of despair, and high on drugs. Music can put you in a delusional state. I'm not saying that music is causing all the crimes. However, what I am saying is liberals create and foster the environment for criminality to grow. They kill religion. They promote the atheistic lifestyle which fears nothing besides cups, earthly rulings, which for the most part don't do much. And so when you see the most atheistic empire, which is China, using the Skynet surveillance system in order to punish citizens, you can see that an atheist still acknowledges you need to have this constant watchful eye of a security surveillance state. That's what Skynet is. It's trying to imitate the all-knowing, the all-seeing, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because at the end of the day, you have religion and God consciousness that makes people fear their maker and act good, or you have a surveillance state with serious repercussions. You cannot just look at bonobos and be like, yeah, that's gonna be us. We're all gonna be super calm and live in communes and just smoke pot all day, and vegetables will just grow easily, and we can all just share resources in this communist commune, and no one's allowed to have hierarchy and all this strange stuff. No. And the women can just be doing insane things by being the leaders and smacking around their husbands and getting high whenever they want and sleeping with all the men and being a full-blown sexually liberated rad femme. No. So, it's time that women start waking up to the reasoning of the patriarchy and how that actually can keep us women safe. If a woman can't even buy flowers and go about safely without having to look over her shoulder every 2 seconds as if she's in the savannah and a hyena is going to pop out and have her for lunch, we have a problem. Okay? If women can't push their stroller safely, that's a problem. Do you recall that the story I shared a little while back where a woman was pushing her baby stroller, a homeless drug addict took a pipe and hit her, and she screamed and no one came to help? Feminists will say, I need no man, but then they'll look around and be like, why doesn't anyone come to help me? That's chivalry. Chivalry is when men acknowledge women need guarding and protecting, but rad femmes will say they don't need that because you're patronizing them. You can't really win with these ladies. And so the liberal atheist feminist hurts us, and when they get into law, they make lawlessness more profound. And when the liberal atheist women control the liberal men, we have even worse problems because they don't have a sense of righteous indignation and true justice, in my opinion. And so it's very important for religious women to advocate for them to be trained with the Second Amendment, because it's the great equalizer. Otherwise, you'll just keep being a victim. You have to stop being a victim. You have to be strong. You have to be vigilant. Okay? You have to be aware. Know when to hide. Know when to run. Know when to take an eyeball. You gotta know the balance. You have to know where you're living at. Now, you can move. But with the internet, the liberal ideas travel and corrupt everything around them. It used to be they were people who were anti-establishment and didn't trust big pharma. Like the liberals of the 80s and 90s were quite different. They wanted to have off-grid living situations, but the laptop class and the business class of liberals, the LinkedIn liberals, well, they're not making reality safe for us. And a lot of them, when they become a victim of a crime, they just gaslight each other into saying it's normal. And they fetishize being a pacifist. And this creates more emboldened criminals. And so, a masculine, all-male police force that's militarized is going to probably be essential pretty soon, because the gang members, they don't care about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't fear death. They don't care about your atheistic, man-made, secular, liberal human rights laws. You have to deal with them with force and fear and power and an iron fist. Liberals aren't capable of that. They are just not meant to rule a nation. They're not classical liberals of the 17th century who are staunch and this and that. These are people who are becoming more and more woke and progressive and strange. And they're destabilizing communities. And for now, they can keep those hordes of criminals out of their communities, but they leave us to fend for ourselves, while telling us that they care about the common working family. They don't. You have to understand, they promote the music, the drugs, the alcohol, the prostitution, the divorce rates that cause single parent homes that are pipelines for prison and illegal markets. They push all of that. And the fruit of their philosophy of destroying religion, of destroying law and order, and being more laissez-faire and pacifist and too humanitarian is what's causing all the criminals to see the writing on the wall. Liberals are the type of people who would take out a tiger's teeth so that it can be more soft, while not removing other predators' teeth, which would lead to the tiger being really abused. Wherever a liberal goes, there is going to be the more feminine emotional energy. And this is quite clear when you see how they rule. Just take a look at the crime. New York City and California, all over California, are the stomping grounds for liberal Democrats and progressive leftists. And you can just use your eyes. I know Google censors, YouTube censors. All they do is commit censorship to hide how their philosophy isn't working out. Ironically, atheists claim to be empiricists, but yet they censor constantly the crime rates, and it goes underreported, and it gets hushed and buried on the 10th page of Google. You just don't get to see it, and when people on the ground talk about it, well, people will still find ways to be like, oh, that must not be normal, that must just not be fine. And then after they move the goalpost, it's, well, we just have to deal with that, and oh, they just want bread. Oh, you should feel sad for them, they're having a mentally hard day. They side with the criminal and see the criminal as the victim, but not the actual victim of the crime as something to be protected, and helped. And so, be cautious when you go out there. Be smart. If women are not even allowed to carry a knife, you will see that the more the liberals get into power, we will be fed on. We will be quite fed on. And so, the solution is to also obey the rules of Islam and try to go out as much as possible with your husband. Don't let your kids walk home alone from school. You gotta be smart. And even in places where the rent is like $5,000, like if you're in New York City, it's like $5,000 for a tiny apartment. There's still garbage on the street, no nature, rats, and tons of junkies everywhere. So moving to an expensive area, depending on the state, won't always be a solution. Just think about how you can secure your situation at this moment, wherever you are in America. And if you're in other countries, I'm sure you'll have solutions for where you are. But in California, liberals have made it less safe for us. We have to be smart. We have to be. And so, make dua when you travel. When you go about, be aware. Don't put your headphones in. I even saw an excellent video from a firearms instructor about having a decoy wallet. So when they try to rob you, you throw your fake wallet that has a fake American Express, fake everything, just to give them something so they can run away. My mom even had a thing where she told me in Philly that you would keep your real money in your bra, but then you'd have a couple bucks in your pocket, because when a criminal robs you, they will get angry if you have no money, and they might just SA you, and they might pistol whip you and do something worse. So you need to be wise. Give them something so they leave. I've also seen people having decoy phones, and I'm thinking about doing that. I have kept all my older phones over the years, and I have like 9 old school phones, and I think it would be, I even have the hacked phone still, and it would be very funny. Well, may Allah protect me, I never want to be robbed, but it would be pretty hilarious in a crude sense if I had the hacked phone, which is infected with virus from when I got tackled by all those hackers not too long ago. If I had that there, then I give it to that criminal, and then that criminal can connect. You know, like criminals poaching on each other, the pieces of garbage. It would be kind of funny. The criminal would be like hacked. You know, it would just be kind of funny in a ironic way, right? But carrying a decoy phone, because as crime grows on public transit, I don't have to take public transit, but if I ever do, have a decoy phone, right? Maybe even buying some of these types of special phone holders where you wear it and it's tucked in and it's kind of more hidden. You know, make it harder for the criminal to snatch everything off of you. There's people going on those motorcycles, and women are looking on their phones and they just come by and take it. So we have to be wise. There's too many people who don't want to work. They don't want to have an honest job. They want fast money, quick. That's what they want. Easy pickings on women. And they identify women by their dressing. Okay, who will have the most money? Who will have that? I also think it's awesome that people who dress down. I understand some men want to flex their wealth in order to get a certain type of woman. But in the end, you should be very careful when you go out in California. You need to look at it like everyone is suspect. It's not walking around in paranoia. But if you pay attention, the faces of evil are so vast. And there's tons of sex workers working for gangs. I mean, it is not even funny at this point. Tons of them will rob you when you sleep. They'll lure you to a certain location. Those men will rob you. They get a cut. Drug addict women will also have zero guilt, pretending that they're hurt, that they need you to help with something within their car, and these guys come out of the woodwork and rob you right there. It's very common. So common, alright? And just be wise. When you go out, treat it how you would in a zombie apocalypse, right? There's a lot of twisted people who are just waiting for the opportunity. We don't have a moral society. We're not a high trust society anymore. Okay, when there was a lot of Christians in the country and the Christians weren't having all the problems they have now, there was more morality. Yeah, there was still crime, but the men were still allowed to punish the criminal. Liberal women have made it harder for people to be prosecuted. And I'll keep sharing true crime and encouraging you to subscribe to pages and journalists who report on this, because you're not going to see it as much on the mainstream news, because they know it will hurt an election. During an election season in America, liberals cover up crime stats a lot. They take down pages, ban pages, remove comments, because they know it'll hurt them during election season. So you have to be mindful of that. When you're looking on YouTube and other websites where the algorithm is ruled by liberal atheists. Dirty politics. They'll proudly report on other people's crimes in another country, but when it comes to their election season, you know, don't report on anything. So go out there, be wise. Earth is a tense place. Very tense place. And when you have the godless, secular liberal atheists ruling, well, law and order breaks down and the men become more feminine and unable to hold the line in a stoic, masculine, righteous way against evil criminals. And the wicked know this. Think about it. Think about it. Can't say a whole lot, but I am gonna start focusing a lot on crime in local areas, and it's very important to know who is allowing this. The garden that the liberals have created is one of self-eating plants. It's a very polluted garden, let's put it that way, in an allegorical, metaphorical sense. Take care, and if you'd like to join my blog, where I discuss all kinds of topics from art reviews, culinary arts, grammar, memes, all that fun stuff, you can do so at www.subscribestar.com/Milahan Archive. Hope to see you there. So beautiful, mashallah.